This is Jeff at For Whom J Bell Tolls on Twitter, here to bring you another fantasy intervention quick shot.
All right, who wants a shot? Quick shots.
Warren Buffett once said, "I will tell you how to become rich. Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful." When looking for market strategy, Warren Buffett is top of the class. He started to invest in childhood and he peaked as the world's wealthiest individual in 2008. Attacking uncertainty and selling on confidence has long been a core tenet of his investment strategies. Stock market parallels litter this fantasy game. Fantasy Intervention's own website is filled with buzzy buy, sell, and our own Jacob Sanderson's player comparisons to Bitcoin. Groupthink within this industry can be pervasive, and cutting against the grain can leave you exposed. But hit on those moves and you win. Bills receiver Stephon Diggs and Raiders tight end Darren Waller were two of the 5 names on ESPN's most owned championship rosters. Both faced discounted draft prices, falling outside of the top 55 on Fantasy Pros 2020 ADP. It was not due to their talent, but due to perceived situation. Diggs' value was depressed due to quarterback Josh Allen's inability to deliver accurate passes in 2019. His wide receiver 23 preseason rank was a clear overreaction, especially considering that Bills' primary wide receiver John Brown finished as wide receiver 20 in 2019. Waller faced a perceived crowded target room with preseason buzz on Raiders receivers Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, Hunter Renfrow. We all know how that worked out. On the flip side, one of the biggest draft busts was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Helaire was drafted into a crowded backfield, sharing it with Super Bowl hero Damian Williams. However, the opt-out of Williams in the summer allowed Edwards-Helaire's value to skyrocket, with some even suggesting taking him 1.1 overall in fantasy drafts. He was drafted into a crowded situation, and we should have listened to some of the concerns as he finished outside of running back 20. When we develop a critical eye, we can begin to find our undervalued stocks. 2 players that currently stand out to me are 49ers running back Jeffrey Wilson Jr. and wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. Wilson Jr. also appeared on the ESPN Most Rostered Championship Players list. He has a current consensus rank of 62, insinuates he's widely unknown across platforms or undervalued. However, we've seen in the past Kyle Shanahan give him a goal line role, and the team has already re-signed him. When Raheem Mostert missed time last year, he was dominant. He averaged 18.36 points per game when there were 7 games that he exceeded at least 12 touches. We've seen Shanahan successfully deploy 2 running backs in the same backfield. Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman in Atlanta in 2016 both placed inside the top 19 in PPR running back scoring. Wilson is a stylistic fit. He has the trust of the coaching staff, and a low profile should allow for an inexpensive addition to your fantasy rosters. Ayuk checks in wide receiver 25 on Fantasy Pros' current dynasty rankings. After missing week 1, Ayuk became a key to the 49ers' offensive success. He averaged 16.94 points per game over his last 11 games, which would place him at wide receiver 13 on the season. He's facing uncertainty due to tight end George Kittle and fellow receiver Deebo Samuel expected to eat into his targets. However, those two have very distinct uses within the 49ers' offensive scheme, which will allow space to Ayuk to flourish. In addition, the team is looking to upgrade the quarterback position from Jimmy Garoppolo, and there's a chance that Ayuk steps forward as the clear number 1 wide receiver option. It's not very often that you can find a wide receiver with first-round capital going as a wide receiver 3 in dynasty startup rankings. The breadcrumbs are easy to trace in hindsight. It speaks to the value of identifying your source information and developing your own opinion. I'm going to close with a quote from Steve Jobs. "Don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your inner voice." More often than not, the noise of the market should lead you to examine moving in the opposite direction. Make sure to throw us a follow, Fantasy Intervention on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter at For Whom J Bell Tolls for more insight.